Welcome to this year's Hobby with Ollie Christmas Battle Report.
The Battle of the Christmas Tree.
A rare and unusual treasure has been unearthed on a planet in the sector XMA-5. A giant tree-like structure that both the Orcs and the Blood Angels are eager to obtain.
The mission today is that whoever holds the rear corner, where the festive Christmas tree is, at the end of the game will win.
However, there's a little bit of mischief going on as the Red Gobbo is skulking about. Have you been naughty or nice? He doesn't really care, he just wants to throw a stick of dynamite at you. To represent the Red Gobbo walking around and throwing his dynamite presents to everybody, we'll be rolling to randomly determine a unit on the battlefield, who will then be sustaining D3 mortal wounds at the start of every turn. Without any further ado, my name is Ollie, and let's get straight into this year's Festive Battle Report. As the Blood Angels won the roll-off, we have decided to go first.
As for the Red Gobbo this turn, he decides to visit the grots on the backfield, giving one of the mech gun crew a stick of dynamite. Now, legend has it that he either went off to join the Gobbo in response to this lovely present, or he was turned into a red smear. Either way, one of the models is removed from the battle.
At the start of turn 1, we're both going to gain 1 command point, going up to 1. So it's going to be Blade Guard veterans up the right flank who advance 4 inches, making it into some cover behind the snowbank, and the Assault Intercessors with Mephiston Lord of Death are going to make it into the same piece of cover with a big 6-inch advance. Commander Dante and the Sanguinary Guard are also going to be advancing up, an extra 3 inches to their 12. This means they're going to be moving 15 inches, however, rather than just going right up the centre and dying in a hail of orc bullets, I'm going to slide into the ruins on the left-hand side. Hopefully I can get a bit of flanking action next turn. Now the Outriders get their Turbo Boost ability, which means they automatically advance 6 inches, so I'd be remiss if I didn't do that. Let's yeet them up the middle of the battlefield. Dreadnoughts on the left-hand side, and it turns out the Furioso Dreadnought still only has a movement characteristic of 6 inches. It's okay, we can get a big advance. Oh no, that's a 1. He's moving up 7 inches up the left flank. The Death Company Dread does have a slightly more respectable 8 inches, and so he's going to advance up as well. I'm not going to advance the Redemptor, but I am going to move him up so that he can take aim at some of those flash gits on that boat. So they are making themselves rather an obvious target. On to Blood Angels shooting, and we've only got the Redemptor who's able to shoot, so he's going to put all his shots into that battle wagon orc pirate ship. With the heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, he manages to rattle the rigging but only inflicts a single wound, and the Fragstorm grenade launchers don't manage to inflict any wounds, even with their twin linked. We haven't got any charges to declare this turn, which means it's over to the Orcs for their turn 1.
But what's this? The grots have been particularly naughty or nice this year, and the Red Gobbo is visiting one of the Killicans, inflicting 3 mortal wounds.
So at the start of Orcs turn 1, we each gain a command point, and then Ghazghkull does what I always forget to do, which is declares a war. War! This means that throughout the turn, I'm going to be able to advance all my models and charge. I'm also going to get some epic bonuses in melee. The flash kits in the battle wagon are staying put, so hopefully they can do some pretty epic damage with their big shooty weapons. Snaz guns.
Oh.
That sounds like a made-up word.
It is a made-up.
All words are made-up words. And now, over to the Warbikers. They're going to zoom up the battlefield to attack the other Warbikers, the red ones. Outriders. And to help them with the assault, the Death Copters are coming up on the other side. Although they might be missing their copters. The copter bit is missing for the day.
Their rotors?
Or copter. Copter is better than rotor. Otherwise they'd be called Death Rotors. And then, using one of my favourite models, the Shocked-Up Dragster, I was able to do a surprise assault from the back of the playing field. Hopefully he is able to make it in with his charge move. Now, as there are a lack of objectives in this game, I feel like we're really going to miss the Gretchen having their prime time moves, but they're still going to make an attempt, so they are charging up the centre of the battlefield, followed by the Killicans, my other favourite model in this game, which, although they may be a little bit useless, I still think they're going to be fun. And finally, what the war was really declared for, we move over to the 2 big stonky models. So Ghazghkull rolls his initial advance Unfortunately, as it's just a 1, we need to do a command point reroll, otherwise the entire couloir is useless. On the reroll, Gaz ended up securing a 3-inch advance, which cuts it close with his now charge move, but better than a 1. I'll take it. And finally, Death Dread moving up the left-hand side of the battlefield. With a decent advance, he ends up moving 11 inches, which puts him nice and close, ready for the next charge phase. And now over to the shooting phase. And to start us off, we've got Captain Badrak and the Flashgits in the battle wagon. So Captain Badrak managed to shoot the Death Company Dread and wounded twice. Come on, Fat.
Whoa!
So that is -2 AP.
Oh!
Damn it.
Yes!
But unfortunately, both were saved. Flashgits had sustained hits, which meant they hit 22 times with only 20 shots.
She likes C2.
A real win. They managed to inflict 12 wounds, which Death Dread saved several of, but still ended up taking 5 wounds. Death Dread shot back with frenzied reprisal, but only did 1 damage. The Warbikers shot and heavily wounded the Red Warbiker, and the Deathcopters managed to finish him off. Killer Cans did manage to land 1 more wound on the Red Bikers. And probably my favourite feature of this turn, Metgun used his Wobbly Bubble and killed off 1 Sanguinary Guard model. And now, over to the charge phase. So, Death Dread makes it in. Gaz, unfortunately, fails his initial charge.
CP reroll.
Right, come on. Come on, 10.
Don't you do it.
Come on, 10.
Oh, baby, baby!
But with a command point reroll, also manages to make it in. I think Ollie is truly devastated. Warbikers and the Deathcopters both charged the Outriders. The Shock Jump Dragster charged it in to the Blade Guard. And over to the fight phase. The Blade Guard had to take a battle shock test due to piston-driven brutality, but managed to pass. Death Dread fought, inflicting no damage as Ollie's Shield of the Imperium let him re-roll one of the saving throws. Shock Jump Dragster attacked with the saw blades, did 4 wounds, but only 1 went through. The Warbikers attacked the Warbikers. They did 1 damage with their close combat weapons, followed up by the Deathcopter, who also did 1 wound. That second Warbiker is only just alive. Finally, over to Ghazghkull. Ollie did Transfixing Gaze with Mephiston to reduce my weapon skill. Ollie gets to fight first here because Mephiston has Quickening. Mephiston attacked and Makari jumped in front of Gaz to save him with his 2-up invuln, so no damage was taken. Unfortunately, the Intercessors did manage to take down Makari and inflict a wound on the Meganobs, but Gaz got to hit back. While Pretty Boy Mephiston managed to make 2 Feel No Pains, it wasn't enough and the whole squad was wiped out with 1 swipe of Ghazghkull's Claw. Long live the real MVP of this battle. And now back over to Ollie to fight back. The Outriders fought back into the Warbikers, but unfortunately did no damage. Blade Guard did also fight into Death Dread and unfortunately did do no damage, but thankfully for Ollie, the captain did manage to dink off 2 wounds with his power sword. And now, turn 2.
We both gained a command point at the start of turn 2, and I have to declare my oaths of moment. We need to take down Ghazghkull, so we're going to be re-rolling all hits against him. Onto the movement phase, and I decided to move my Death Company Dread up the left flank towards the ship full of Flashgits, and then also my Redemptor Dread shuffled up that side as well to get some better sight lines on the beast himself. Dante and the Sanguinary Guard moved over their 12 inches as the primary target has been spotted. After taking down the Chief Librarian, it's time for some payback. Hopefully. The Furioso Dreadnought is going to be setting a vanguard for that assault. My Blade Guard and my Outriders are still locked in combat, so nothing for them to do. Let's move on to some shooting. I need to take out some greenskins. This means war. Onto my shooting, and we're going to start with Dante and Perdition right at the beast. We managed to hit, we managed to wound, but unfortunately it is saved by the Meganobs. His bodyguard is really protecting him. However, we've got more Melter to do, and that is from the Furioso Dreadnought, and we managed to absolutely annihilate one of those Meganob bodyguards. Come on. The Angelus Pattern bolt guns from the Sanguinary Guard failed to do any damage, being deflected by the sheer bulk of Ghazghkull Thraka, But we do still have the Death Company Dread, who's going to attempt to melt it on the other side of the field. No dice here, no wounds inflicted. A few pistols from the Blade Guard start us off. No damage inflicted onto the Death Dread. The same thing from the Outriders, a couple of bolt pistols, but no damage onto their Warbiker counterparts. The Redemptor Dread is some of my heaviest firepower, so he's going to take aim at Ghazghkull, being just in range for both his Fragstorm grenade launchers and Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon. While the Fragstorm grenade launchers failed to do any wounds, we did manage to send through one wound onto the Meganobs with the Heavy Onslaught Gatling Cannon. Onto charges, and the Death Company Dread rolls to get into the battleship, which is real close, and rolls a double 1. Fortunately, we're going to use a command point reroll and roll an 11. He's overcompensating now for his previous failure. Furioso Dreadnought is charging into Ghazghkull.
Look, they're friends.
The Redemptor Dreadnought is performing a flanking action on the Warbikers, coming to pick them up and hopefully toss them around in the fight phase. I ummed and ahed a little bit about Dante and the Sanguinary Guard, but they are going to charge into Ghazghkull, so it's time for the showdown. Warlord versus Warlord. Warden of Imperium Nihilis against the Beast. Right, let's get to chopping some things up in the fight phase. It's every Blood Angel's favourite phase, the fight phase. Time to fight with the blood of Sanguinius flowing through our veins, and we'll start with the closest to that great angel, Lord Commander Dante and the Sanguinary Guard. Dante swipes with the Axe Mortalis, but all of the blows are deflected.
MVP, MVP.
Fortunately, his Sanguinary Guard are able to step in and finish off the beast.
Goodbye,
MVP.
Ghazghkull.
On the left-hand side of the battlefield, the Death Company Dread also made his attacks, ripping and tearing through the battle wagon, managing to inflict 15 wounds with his claws before consolidating into the Flashgits, who stepped out. The Redemptor Dreadnought, having charged into the back of the Warbikers, managed to pick them up and tear apart the squad with his Redemptor Fist, providing much needed relief for the Outriders. It was now Meg's go to fight back though, as I'm out of charges, so it was the Death Dread who fought into my Blade Guard veterans. At the start of the fight phase, I declared the Shield of the Imperium, so my Blade Guard are once again going to be getting reroll 1s on their saving throws. This was invaluable at protecting my Blade Guard, as the Death Dread failed to inflict any wounds, and then they turned around to attack the Shock Jump Dragster, managing to take it out with some help from the Captain's Power Sword. The Deathcopters swung back into the Outriders, managing to finally take out the last injured member of the squad, leaving only the Sergeant, who attempted to fight back, but no wounds inflicted. Swinging a chainsword at a helicopter, probably not the best move. The Flashgits also fought back into the Death Company Dread, but even with the irradiated rounds from Captain Badrock reducing my toughness, there were no wounds inflicted. It's looking pretty rosy as we come to the end of Blood Angels turn 2.
Red Gobbo gave an early Christmas present to the Blood Angels and put a stick of dynamite into the Death Company Dreadnought's exhaust, exploding him and causing a wound to the nearby Flashgits. And over to Orks turn 2. The Grots and the Killicans are starting a run towards the Christmas tree portal, hoping to escape the wrath of the Blood Angels. Over to the shooting phase. Not too much to report, but the Bubble Chucker did manage to hit a heavy bubble on the Redemptor Dreadnought, inflicting 8 wounds. And lastly, the combat phase. Death Dread managed to take out one Blade Guard. The Deathcopters wielded their blades at the Warbiker and inflicted a few more wounds, although still didn't manage to take out that final bike. With such a little army left, the Gretchen are panicking, having definitely picked the wrong battle today. They need to make a quick escape. And with that, the game is over. There's not a chance the Gretchen are going to win in this battle.
It is a victory for the Blood Angels. Never in doubt, Sons of Sanguinius. We always had that in the bag. But no, real talk, it was pretty stressful towards the middle when Ghazghkull was looking like he was going to rip up my entire army. Fortunately, a tactical intervention by the Lord Commander Dante and his Sanguinary Guard did seem to save the day. Thank you so much for watching this battle report. If you enjoy it, subscribe to the channel. There's loads more like it. And there's also loads of cool videos coming in the new year. I hope you all have a very lovely Christmas time, whether you celebrate or not, and here's to a wonderful 2024. My name has been Ollie, this has been my hobby for 2023, and I'll see you next year. Orcs is never beaten!
I'll be back!
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Merry Christmas!